Alrighty, so today I'm going to be making a quick video on the Arcteryx Nuclei SV, the most expensive jacket, obviously, and actually my favorite jacket in all the jackets and all of the videos and reviews that I've done. I really don't promote buying stuff from Arcteryx or Canada Goose or even REI for that matter, Patagonia, just because most of their products for the features they give you compared to other brands are grossly overpriced. But this was kind of my one purchase. I have a lot of really good reasons on why this is my favorite jacket, and why, if there is one essential piece of kit to spend a lot of money on and maybe to actually buy from Arcteryx, I would recommend this guy. One other one would maybe be the Proton, if you can find it used as well. So right now I am standing on a frozen lake in Montreal. It is about -11 outside. I am toasty warm in this guy, which by the way is a fully synthetic belay parka. Really quickly over the sizing and bells and whistles of the jacket, it has a two-way zipper, a head cinch, a really nice and tall neck wind protector. It has a button up on that two-way zipper. It has two huge internal, I wouldn't say huge, but it has two internal drop pockets, two hand warmer pockets, and a singular chest pocket as well. It also has a waist cinch as well as a front hood cinches as well. The most important thing on a really true rock climbing jacket like this, if you want to just wear it around for photography like I do, is to make sure it has a hood cinch, because a lot of these jackets are built to be worn with a helmet. Yeah, it's super important to be able to wear it without a helmet. So why would I go with a jacket like this when my whole channel and everything I really do on here is mostly geared towards super budget gear that works really well? To start from the very beginning, I essentially wanted to get one super warm jacket that, rain or shine, basically if I didn't know what the weather was going to do, I could take this jacket out and be like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to be dry and I'm going to be warm. Now on a day like today, if I'm just going out, I would absolutely choose to wear a down jacket, because there's not a cloud in the sky, there's no chance of rain. If there's any precipitation, it's going to be snow. It's not going to be wet essentially, and it's very cold. So traditionally you'd want to wear a down jacket for that, but there's a lot of days here in Montreal where the weather will start like this, and then out of nowhere clouds will roll in and bring a little more warmth, and it'll start raining or slushing. If you're out and about in a down jacket, you know, doing photography work or camping or whatever, and it really starts coming down, you're gonna be screwed, because the second that DWR finish wears off your down jacket and water starts seeping in, it's not gonna keep you insulated anymore. After hearing that, immediately you'd be like, oh, well, why wouldn't you just get a synthetic jacket? And that leads me into why I made this expensive purchase. The downsides with synthetic jackets are that if you pack them up frequently, they're going to lose their loft quicker, which you can see this is a bulky jacket, and that's what keeps you warm, is that big lofty layer like in down jackets. They also don't pack down quite as small, and the vast majority of synthetic insulation is far inferior to down. Down insulation, at least at this point in time, just nature does a better job of insulating than humanity has figured out how to do yet. No matter what's going on, there's never going to be one jacket you're going to be able to use in every situation. However, it is nice to have a jacket in your arsenal that you can grab if you don't know what the weather's going to be. And so that was my whole reason for purchasing this guy. Going to switch out hands here really quick because my other hand is freezing cold right now, so I'm gonna warm it up a bit. So essentially, if you want a jacket that you can take out when you don't know what the weather is, you don't know if it's going to be raining or snowing or freezing cold, or, you know, rain then frozen, whatever. You don't know if it's going to be wet essentially. That limits your options strictly to either getting a really good rain shell and a nice down jacket, or going with a synthetic option. I did a lot of research on rain shells, and even the best ones from Arcteryx that are like $700, like the Beta AR and the Beta SV. No matter how good your rain jacket is, unless it's a construction PVC super thick, something you would literally never wear unless you're pouring concrete in the rain, you're gonna get rain seeping through it eventually. No matter how much you pay for it, no matter what you do, like, you're going to get seepage. And if I'm gonna spend a good amount of money on a down jacket, I just don't ever want to take it in a wet situation, because there's always gonna be those times when you have to take off your rain shell, or you're like going into a coffee shop, or you're out camping and you have to layer down. Like, the jacket's gonna get wet no matter what you do. So because of that, I was like, okay, I'm done researching rain shells. I'm strictly going to research warm synthetic options. And that proved very challenging. Pretty fast into my research, I realized it's going to be a belay parka because rock climbers on freezing cold rock faces need super warm jackets for those situations, and there really isn't a market for synthetic insulated jackets for like everyday casual use in the city or for photography yet that have the technology that those belay parkas do. So why did I go with the Arcteryx option instead of something from Black Diamond or from a different brand that is essentially the same thing with just, you know, different synthetic insulation? And the reason for that is Arcteryx history. Basically the reason why if you do buy one thing from Arcteryx, it should be this, is their history with belay parkas is phenomenal. I forget the name of it, but the belay parka that they came out with before this one was beloved by rock climbers across the world. There was reviews on Reddit of people sticking it in the bathtub or sticking it in a completely, you know, wet situation like in a river or something, pulling it out and it would be totally dry. Like even when the water seeps through here, the insulation on the inside is so hydrophobic that it does not take on water. Also, the core loft insulation in here is far superior, in my opinion, to any other insulation that other companies are offering right now. Patagonia's version, the Primaloft, a lot of reviews on that are that the insulation does not hold its loft as well. I mean, Primaloft is great, but if it's something I'm spending a good amount of money on, I want it to be the best. The final reason is that there really isn't any other belay parka synthetic jackets that are this thick. This thing is huge. It has 2 layers of 90-gram insulation sheets throughout the entire jacket. It has 1 layer in certain areas, I think, like the arms. I'm pretty sure it has 2 layers in the hood as well. And you can tell just by looking at how bulky this thing is, how much insulation is there. On top of that, it still packs up to the size of a small sleeping bag. I do have a whole other video on synthetic insulations, and I actually have a lot of videos specifically on this jacket, so I'm gonna try and keep this one a bit short. But in conclusion, compared to any other option for what I like to do, which is sometimes go out not knowing at all what the conditions are and just know I'm gonna be warm and dry, nothing compares to this in terms of a rain shell and a down jacket combo, and nothing compares to this in just how at peace of mind you can be when camping or when doing anything outdoors with a jacket like this versus a warm down jacket. This jacket I can throw on an icy lake or on the wet ground and like put all of my camera gear on top of it and not worry about anything with that. If it's pouring rain, even if the rain seeps through this outer layer of the jacket, it's not gonna get through that super thick insulation anyways. And yeah, I just can't iterate enough how nice it is to go out somewhere and not have to worry about things getting wet. Leaving somewhere with my down jacket, even if I'm carrying skis or carrying like a snowy tripod, I'm super cautious about all that snow melt on the things I'm carrying. Or if I have a backpacking backpack and I set it downward in the snow and then there's a bunch of snow on the back, putting that back on my down jacket, you know, it's gonna melt and turn to water and slowly, you know, corrode the down that's in my down jacket. And something like this, you can just throw on, snow can be everywhere, you don't have to give a single crap about it. So that is why I spent $400 on my one super nice expensive jacket. The only thing I would critique about it is that the look of it is not great. Like going around the city, it looks like a huge bulky jacket because it's meant to be put on over all of your layers and all of your rock climbing gear. So my final message to Arcteryx would be, if you're ever watching this video, is maybe make a more city or a more trimmed down of this jacket. Don't cut any of the awesome bells and whistles out of it, super warm insulation, all the stuff that's geared towards rock climbing. Keep all that the same, but maybe make a slightly more cut version that's not cut for a rock climber. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. One more quick thing I'd like to mention about this particular jacket and synthetics in general. When you put on a big bulky down jacket, you have that instant feeling of warmth, and it is just like an absolute heat shell of a jacket. But when you start doing any kind of activity, or even if you're still standing, you get kind of clammy and you start to sweat a bit. This jacket vents heat like nothing. I have no idea what technology they use, but the combination of how unbelievably warm you are in this thing and how it is pretty much completely impossible to sweat is crazy to me. That's something I haven't seen in any other jacket of this magnitude in terms of warmth. And I just think it's really cool how this is a super, super warm jacket, but it is pretty much impossible to sweat in it. I mean, if you're like hiking, you definitely wouldn't wear something this big, but like with my down jacket, sometimes even when I'm standing still just doing photography stuff, I'll start sweating in it because it's down and it's super, super warm. But with this guy, I am incredibly warm and I never sweat. We could go into how important that is in terms of not sweating in cold temperatures, but just one more reason why this thing is so unbelievably awesome is the sheer absolute inability to sweat combined with it just being super warm. So very, very unique jacket.